All right, here we go. Today we have Rico Bozant, one of the escorts hired for freak offs with Diddy and his girlfriend Jane Doe, who took the stand in Puffy's Fed trial. Jane Doe is allegedly the baby mother of a famous rapper from Queens. Rico, welcome to Vlad TV.
What's up? Good to be here.
Well, things are pretty crazy right now. The jury deliberations are going for the Diddy trial. And you are involved in this overall case, although you didn't take the stand. So I just want to get your whole story. So you grew up in New Orleans?
Yes.
Okay. And you got into a bunch of trouble growing up?
Yeah.
Expelled from schools, fighting, this, that. And I guess when you were 16, you went to juvenile for a while?
Yeah, for 5 months. I had to live in juvenile in a boot camp.
Okay. When you got out, you started fighting, MMA.
Started doing MMA, amateur, and then went professional.
Okay, but once you went professional, things went bad in terms of blood clots?
Yep. I got pulmonary embolism and a blood clot in my heart, and I was diagnosed with protein S deficiency. It's like a hereditary condition where my blood gets real thick. So I had to get on medication and had to stop fighting.
Okay, so you stopped fighting, and then a few years later, you actually went to jail for a marijuana possession?
I went to jail for a marijuana possession and a bank fraud charge.
Okay,
and
you did 2 years.
2.5, yep.
2.5. I was going to say marijuana possession doesn't usually come with that unless you have some massive quantity.
The bank fraud I got when I was 17, so I honestly was not supposed to be getting charged as an adult in Louisiana, but it was just a pretty bad justice system at the time.
Okay, so in 2020, you moved to Las Vegas, and you started a gym, you started training fighters and so forth.
Yep, started managing fighters and producing male review shows in Las Vegas.
Okay, so how'd you get into the male review shows?
When I was in New Orleans after I stopped fighting, I started doing acting, and I was on NCIS New Orleans set, and Channing Tatum was there, and he told me about a restaurant that he had on Bourbon Street called Saints and Sinners, where a lot of bachelorettes and birthday parties go, and they needed a dancer, because I was actually hired on set to be a dancer. And when they seen me dance, he offered me that job. So I went, tried it out, and I made a lot of money dancing for bachelorette and birthday parties, and it just became a thing for me.
Okay, so you're dancing at these parties, but for example, I interviewed Punisher.
Yeah. Who
was doing similar type of work. You're doing dancing, but some of the girls, they want privates, after the fact. Was that happening during that time?
No, it wasn't.
At all?
Nope.
Okay, but at one point, that did start happening.
Yes, when I moved to Vegas.
Okay. So what was happening in Vegas?
I started a show, the same show that Punisher manages in New York. I managed that show in New Orleans and Las Vegas.
Oh, same show?
Male Review, yep.
Okay. And what started to happen at that point?
I started training and moving guys in to be a part of the show. And I got with the agency that eventually got me to meet up with the Jane Doe. And just was doing the show and then training people out there.
Okay, but at that point in Vegas, when you were doing the male stripping, were you also sleeping with some of the clients?
It happened a couple times.
Okay, so how would it happen?
Booked through the agency, because it's originally the agency, it's like a companion agency, and you get paid to go on dates, to go on red carpets. It's more of like a boyfriend-girlfriend experience, but people would request, because it's mostly celebrities and high-end clients, they would request to have sex doing those things, and you have the choice to not to or to decide to and set a higher rate.
Okay, and this is Cowboys for Angels?
Yep.
All right, so describe your first escort experience.
My first escort experience, I was booked with a lady and I went to a Bruno Mars concert with her, and then we went out to eat at Mastro's, but that one wasn't a sexual encounter. It was just like, she just needed a date and wanted to spend time with somebody.
Okay, how much did that cost?
$2,000.
Okay. When did the first sexual escort experience happen?
First sexual escort experience happened. It was in Las Vegas at the Venetian, and I went to a show at the Sphere with the client. I was booked for a 4 hour, which is $2,000. And then when we got back from lunch, she asked me, she was like, would you be willing to? And I was like, I've never done it before, but if I was getting paid this amount, which is $5,000, I'd be comfortable to do that. And she was like, all right, that's okay. So that was my first experience was in Las Vegas.
Okay, so you got paid $3,000 to smash on top of the $2,000 you were already getting.
It was the $2,000 for the 4 hour, then the $3,000 on top to make
That's
it
what I'm
five.
saying. Yeah. Okay, so you just had $3,000.
Yeah.
How was that experience? Were you able to perform, or was it kind of like in your head a little bit?
No, she was very attractive. It's something like
Okay.
I would have talked to this woman if I would have seen her out in public and done it anyway. It's like it wasn't like it was a good thing. It was just I got paid instead of doing it for free, kind of, you know?
Okay, how many of these sexual did you have leading up to the whole Diddy thing?
2.
2.
Yep.
So her and somebody else.
Yep.
Okay, was the second one attractive as well, or not so much?
Not so much.
Okay. So how are you able to perform when you're not attracted to the woman?
Cialis. Cialis and energy drinks.
Okay. And you got paid the extra $3,000 for that one as well?
Yep.
All right, so now you're making some money.
Because with the agency, it's like you sign a contract saying it's not sexual. When a person books you on the website, they go through this whole legal form. You can't request. So it's something that's not even part of the agency, because it's like they say you could get in trouble. The person could get in trouble if they request it. So outside of that, it's up to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like not even connected to the agency.
Okay, so leading up to the Diddy situation, that went through the agency as well.
Yes.
So who contacted the agency? Was it Diddy or was it Jane Doe?
It seemed like Jane Doe from the text thread, but I don't know for sure.
Okay, so the agency calls you and says, look, we have a new client for you.
Yeah. There's like, we have a celebrity client and you're going to have to sign the NDA.
Okay, so Jane Doe actually told the agency that there's a celebrity involved.
He had already been with the agency.
Oh,
They had
because
booked
Diddy
with
had
the
already
agency,
been using
booked-
that agency
yes.
for a while. Ah, okay, I get it. And they knew who he was and so forth.
Yeah, they knew everything.
Okay, so you get booked and they send you the NDA. You go through the NDA, what do you think at that point?
It didn't really seem like a legit NDA, but I just signed it because it was more like of a makeup company from what I understood. I feel like it was more of a scare tactic than an official NDA, you know?
Okay, so you sign the contract, you get the payment, and it was $2,000, right?
Yeah, you get the 2,000 when you get there.
Got it. And this was at the Edition Hotel in Hollywood?
Yep.
Okay. You knock on the door, what happens next?
I knock on the door and he opens the door.
He opens the door.
Yeah.
Okay, so no masks, no nothing?
No mask,
Just
no
Diddy
nothing.
right there in front of you.
Yep.
What did you think when you first saw Diddy right there standing in front of you and you realized, okay, this is the client?
I had a friend that's with the agency that when I told him I had a celebrity booking, he told me, he was like, it's going to be Diddy and the girl. And I was like, this was like 2 days before the booking. And I'm like, no. So like when he opened it, I was just like, oh, he was right. That's exactly who it is.
Okay. So now you have Diddy standing in front of you and you're like, okay, my friend told me the right story.
Yeah.
So what happens next?
I walk in and he was like, what's up, man? You know who I am? And I knew who he was, but I was like, no. When he was like, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, and I was like, and he played a song and I was like, oh yeah. And he was like, well, my girl's in the room. He was like, do you want a drink? And I was like, no, I'm good. And he was like, do you smoke? So I was like, yeah. So we walked out to the balcony and we sitting there on the balcony just smoking, and he's like asking me about myself, my career, what I do, and telling me the girls getting ready in the room. And he's like, we chop it up for like 25 minutes about like music, my fight career, and then he starts to tell me, well, this is what I want to do. I have a girl in there I want you to dance for. I want to create an environment. I want to create a vibe. And then she walks out a little while later in lingerie.
Okay. And this is a Asian female?
Yeah, like a black and Asian female. I didn't know who it was at the time.
Okay. Okay. So the female walks in. Did she look familiar to you?
No.
Okay. What happens next?
She sits down. She's in lingerie. We smoke and talk for like 15 minutes about different stuff. And then she's like, do you want to dance with me? And he was like, before y'all dance, I want to create a scene. He was like, told her to stand at the edge of the balcony. He was like, he told her he want her to print out, I'm walking in the bar and we're just meeting. And she's like, okay. And she's like, hey, how you doing? Just starts to play it, you know? So I play along with her. And we do that for like 3 minutes, and I was like, can we just go inside and I can dance for you? And she's like, yeah, sure. So we walk inside, and she's put towels like on the floor. There's towels on the sofa, towels on the floor, like a bunch of white towels. I'm like, but there was like 2 bottles of baby oil sitting next to it. So he tells her where to sit, and I start dancing for her. While I'm dancing for her, he's kind of instructing her, like, I want you to sit here, telling her to pour baby oil on herself. When I took my shirt off, tell her to put baby oil on me, and did that for like 10 minutes. And then I stopped dancing for her, and he was like, can you take her pants off? She was like, I got some underwear I want you to wear. Like, she had the specific underwear she wanted me to wear. And she pulled them on, and I'm like, okay. She like, can you go put them on? So I go put the underwear on, come back. I start dancing for her. And as I'm dancing for her, he's sitting to the side, and I see he pulls a phone out and starts to record me dancing. And I'm like, no, I don't record me. So he's like, all right, cool. He puts the phone down. But there's also a laptop sitting next to him, and it's like open towards me. So I go over there, and then I close the laptop, and then I go back and I start dancing for her.
Okay, but didn't Diddy have a conversation with you ahead of time that says that he's in a porn and he wants to create his own porn movies in front of him, basically?
Yeah, that was the conversation before he set up the scene and said, like, I'm walking in from the bar.
Okay. What did you think when he kind of described this whole, real life porno?
I was wondering, because I told him I was at film school and like my purpose for being in film school, so I kind of feel like he was just segueing that. And he was saying he's at a point in his life where he likes to create his own porn, and he has a beautiful girl in here, and I'm gonna enjoy it. And I was like, all right, cool,
Okay. Now, what is Diddy doing as you guys are kind of doing all this foreplay?
He's just sitting there watching.
Okay, he's fully clothed?
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens when you guys get more and more sexual?
She starts to give me oral there, and then she was like, do you want to go in the room? So we go in the room, and he actually takes his shirt off, so he's sitting in the corner while we're on the bed having sex, and she just kind of overdoing the baby oil thing, and I'm like, it's like a lot, it's kind of too much, you know what I'm saying? I start wiping myself off with the towel. And she was like, I like baby oil, I got a thing for baby oil, and I'm like, all right, but it's a lot, like it's almost overwhelming by the baby oil, you know what I'm saying?
Only 2 bottles though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I see at this point is only 2 bottles.
Okay, probably more in the back. Now, did you get any sort of gay vibes from Diddy at all?
I didn't, but just him wanting to watch that, you never know. But at the same time, how he gave the explanation of creating his own porn,
Okay. Were you uncomfortable with the man right there while you're trying to, do your thing with the female?
No, he kind of kept his distance. And as we had that conversation before, as we were sitting outside, she asked me, she was like, are you comfortable doing the threesome or would you be open to? And I was like, I never did it and I'm not comfortable doing it. And so I kind of like put that out there before we even started,
Huh. Okay, so Diddy actually wanted to do an actual threesome with you and Jane Doe as opposed to just watching, but you said, nah, I'm good.
She asked.
She asked.
Yeah.
Which meant that he was okay with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She wouldn't just spring it on him.
Yeah.
Okay, but you said, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you guys start the sex, what happens then?
He just kind of like walking around, watching, kind of instructing her, telling her like to talk dirty and to like switch positions, tell her get up, do this, and then like would be like stop, and she wanted me to dance for her in between us having sex. So we just like set up a little set, cut the lights on. She'd be like, tell me to pick 2 songs. She'll pick 2 songs and kind of dance in between. And then he's just like watching, walking around watching and kind of instructing her. He'd like tell her to sit down and then tell me to sit down. I'll sit down. She'll dance for me a little bit, kind of just like mixing it up. And he's pretty much just directing her, telling her what to do while I'm dancing for her.
Well, didn't Jane Doe ask you to take off the condom?
Yeah.
And what did you say?
I said no. And then she was like, well, could you come on me? So when I came, I pulled the condom off and came on her.
Okay. Before that happened, though, what was Diddy doing as you guys are having sex?
He was sitting in the corner with his shirt off, and then at one point, like right before I came, he was sitting in the corner. He had his hands in his pants with his shirt off, and he was just sitting there. And then he would get up, and then he'd just be walking around smoking, like sipping a drink, smoking as me and her having sex, and just kind of telling her, do this, put more baby all on yourself, kind of instructing her throughout the process.
Right, but wasn't he pleasuring himself at one point?
Yeah.
Okay. So I remember when I talked to Punisher, right? he said that he was given, very clear instructions to not even, address Diddy on any point. Don't look him in the eye. Don't act like he's even there. He said the first time that him and Diddy actually locked eyes was when he was leaving the stand, in court. Was there any of that? Like, don't look at Diddy, don't talk to Diddy, or was this more kind of like?
No, when he was walking around, I looked at him. He was like, I'm not even here. But like at the same time, like I know you tried to record when I was first dancing for us, so I'm like conscious of him walking around. And he was like, act like I'm not even here,
Okay, so you guys have sex with a condom while Diddy's watching.
Yeah.
Does he leave before you actually come?
No, he stayed in there.
He's actually in there.
Yeah.
Okay, and Punisher told me the exact same story. That basically he would have sex with Cassie, in his case, and right before he came, he'd have to pull out and bust on her stomach. So that's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
So after you bust, what happens next?
I get up and I go into the bathroom to take a shower, and then when I walk in the bathroom, in the tub, it's like this much hot water, and there's like 10 bottles of baby oil in the bathtub and like 5 bottles of Astroglide, and just like floating in hot water. So when I walk in there, I'm like, So I'll stick my hand in the water, and like the water is like very hot. So I was like, they must have just put this in here. And I think to myself, well, I just used like 2 bottles of baby oil. So why do they got this many? Like, what they gonna be doing with all these bottles, So
there's just a massive amount of baby oil in that tub.
Massive amount of baby oil in the tub.
Okay. Well, the one thing Punisher told me that was very interesting. He told me part of the story off camera. But he said that every time he would bust, before he came, Diddy would walk in the other room and close the door. And as soon as she would like jump up and like just try to hold kind of like the stomach, like the liquid gold, make sure it didn't spill, and just run into the other room and bring it to Diddy. And what he said that was really funny was that he was actually relieved after watching the court case because he assumed that Diddy was eating it the whole time. And when he found out that she would rub it on his nipples, he was like halfway relieved. He was like, okay, I guess that's better than Diddy eating it, I guess.
Oh my God.
Do you have any idea what Jane Doe and Diddy did with your man juice after you were done?
Well, I finished. I'm in the shower and I'm thinking to myself, like, I just came on, like, she's not gonna come get in the shower, So I get out the shower, and then when I walk out, they're having sex. Him and her are having sex.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm like,
so
she didn't even wash that off of her.
Okay, so basically Diddy got your sloppy seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. How did that make you feel when you saw that?
It threw me off, really. Like, I walked into the living room, closed the door, and started getting dressed. Yeah, I was like, all right.
Like, I do not want to be here right now.
Yeah.
I mean, were they like asking you to join in? Or?
No. Like, I opened the door and they in the bed and they're having sex, and I'm like, interesting. And I literally just walk out, close the door, and start putting my clothes on.
Okay. And they give you what, the 3,000 extra?
The 5. I didn't get the 2 yet.
Oh, okay.
So she walks out and she was like, thank you, we enjoyed that. How much do I owe you? And I was like, 5. She gave me, and then I left.
Okay. How'd you feel walking out of there?
I was kind of like surprised at the ending, like how he was having sex with her, and she didn't take a shower with the cum, but at the same time, I was just like,
so he's like, was it missionary?
Yeah, she was laying down on her back and he was on top of her.
So basically your cum juice is rubbing up on his stomach as he's having sex with her. That's
so I was kind of thrown off from that.
Yeah, that's a little nasty. Okay. So you walked out and you were like, okay, damn, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you had a second encounter also.
Yep. Probably 4 months later.
4 months later. So when they hit you, did they tell you, okay, same couple as last time?
Yep. Same client.
All right, so you knew what was up.
Yeah.
So what happens the second time?
The second time it was I think in Beverly Hills at a hotel called the L'Hermitage or L'Hermitage. Mm-hmm. And I go up and it's the same setup, but this time they have like a fruit tray, a couple bottles, and like pre-rolls on the table. So I walk in and we sitting at the table just like eating out the fruit tray and drinking and talking, and he was like asking me if I wanted a rhino pill. And I was like,
what is that?
It's like the gas station pills, the sex pills that you get at the gas stations. And I was like, no, I'm good. I don't need that, And then he has, he comes back, he was like, what about the honey pack? and it said hidden vault on it. And I was like, hidden vault? And she was like, it's just honey. So I read it and I'm like, okay, it's closed. It's honey. I'll give it a shot. So I did the honey pack. And that was my first time learning about the honey, if you know about it.
No, I don't. What is that?
It's like kind of like the rhino pill at the gas station that enhances your sexual performance. Just kind of chill, smoke, and still had like the towels laid out. So the same scenario. She already had like a list of songs this time that she wanted me to dance to. Mm-hmm. So I danced for like 4 songs. She got a pair of underwear that she wanted me to wear for some reason. It's like some black boxer briefs. I put those on, I danced for her. Same thing, a lot of baby all as I'm dancing, and he's kind of instructing her, telling her to dance, telling her what to say, like speak dirty, And then we did that in the living room for like 30 minutes, then moved to the bedroom, and kind of the same situation, but I couldn't come the second time.
Okay, so was it condoms again?
Yeah.
Okay, did they ask you not to wear a condom this time?
No.
Okay, so they already knew.
She asked me to come on though, again.
Again?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going through the motions, but you can't come.
Yeah.
Is it because Diddy's
I don't know, it's
right
because
there?
he was pacing, or the honey, like the honey is just like a Viagra type supplement that I was hard, but I just couldn't come.
Okay. So what happened? At one point you just gave up?
Yeah, I was like, it's not working. And she was like, it's okay, I'm tired, you're good. And then I just ended that one.
Okay, so you took the condom off.
Yeah.
Go back to the bathroom again?
No, I just took the condom off and started getting dressed.
Oh, so you didn't even shower this time?
Yeah, and I didn't even shower.
Okay. And was Diddy upset at all, or?
He was like, no, you good, bro, you good. It'd be like that sometimes. But you could tell, like, that's what they wanted, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay, so you got paid the $5,000 again, or?
Yeah.
Okay. What year was that?
One of them was end of 2023, and one was beginning of 2024.
Okay, so 23, 24.
August 23, I think it was.
Okay. Now, at the agency, you said that you had a friend who had already done these types of freak offs.
Yes.
With Jane Doe and Diddy. Do you know how many he did?
I don't know exactly, but it was a couple, like over 2 or 3.
Okay, so you have these 2 sessions, and you go back to your normal life. The Cassie lawsuit comes out. This was maybe 6 months later, 9 months later, something like that.
Yeah.
When you heard about the lawsuit, what did you think?
It kind of blew my mind. And then when the lawsuit came out, all allegations came out, and there was 3 friends I told about the situation, and they called me instantly, and they're like, man, Rico, remember you telling me about that all situation and sending me the links, and I'm like, man, this is crazy, but I never thought it would come to me, and I started getting calls from the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the FBI started calling me, saying they wanted to talk to me, and I had a friend that was an attorney, so I called him, and he was like, well, you don't have to talk to them, they don't have a subpoena, this and this. So then 2 days later, they called me. They was like, we have a subpoena, so you got to talk to us. So I just avoided them. They was calling me, trying to meet up with me. And they knew I lived on Sunset. They was like, we're here on Sunset. We just want you to talk to you for a second. So I avoided them for 5 months. And then I was promoting an event I was working for, and I posted on social media. So I go outside. They're like, Rico, someone's outside. And I think it's just one of my guests trying to get into the event. And when I go out there, the guy pulls up a phone and start recording me. He hands me a letter, and as he's handing it to me, I grab it, and it's a long line of people outside and the producer for the show, and I grab it, and he pulls out his phone, and he was like, you're set to be here in the pier. He pulled up his shirt and showed his badge, and was being loud about it. And I knew exactly what it was once he started doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so now you have an actual subpoena.
Yeah.
For the grand jury.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did the Diddy house raids already happen or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So you now know that things are getting more and more serious.
Real.
Right. So the Diddy house raids happen. The Cassie lawsuit has been settled, but everyone got to read through all the craziness in it. And did the Cassie video come out yet or no?
It was just beginning. That stuff was just beginning to come out.
Okay. When you saw the Cassie video, the hallway, Intercontinental video, what'd you think?
I felt like that was bad. I felt bad for her, and like felt bad for being around someone that ruthless that would do that to a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I mean, before the video came out, he had a whole Instagram post like, all these lies spread about me. I will protect my name and my family. They're all false, whatever. Then that video comes out, and then he did the, he's like, yo, I'm fucked up.
yeah.
I was in a dark place.
Should have said that at first, right?
I know, right? So the video comes out, the lawsuit, has been settled, the house raids have happened. I mean, when you heard about the house raids, when they raided both his LA and Miami home, did you think at this point, okay, things are really getting serious?
Yeah, I did. But at the same time, in my head, I was like, I didn't let him record any of me, so I wasn't really worried. So I didn't think I had anything to worry about,
Right. But now you have an actual subpoena to go to a grand jury. Where was that? In what state?
New York.
In New York?
Yep.
Okay. So what was the grand jury like?
I actually did it on Zoom, so it was like me and like 8 people. It was me, my lawyer, I guess, like the DA and like 7 jurors. And they just questioned me about what happened and everything that went on. Kind of told them the same thing, and was asking questions like, did I feel forced, or did it feel like she was forced, or was there any drugs around, like kind of stuff that could lead to something,
Right. And I mean, based on what you said, you weren't forced.
Yep.
Did she seem like she was forced at all?
She was chill and enjoying it. I didn't feel like nobody was forced in the situation.
Right. And there really were no drugs. It was just like
It was just weed, alcohol, yeah.
Exactly. And then just the various,
And
quarter store pills and honey and whatever else, right? And baby oil. Exactly. Were you worried that you might get charged with prostitution at that point?
Yeah.
Okay. And what do they say about that?
They just told me as long as I just tell them what really happened, I wouldn't have nothing to worry about.
I mean, during this grand jury process, were any of the other, escorts that were part of this agency, were they part of it as well? Did, like, some of your people were also part of this grand jury?
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys were like talking with each other, like, yo, I'm about to go, and you going, and so forth. So how many people did you know that were part of this grand jury?
2.
So 3 of you total?
Yeah.
And how did everyone feel when you guys were talking to each other?
Kind of just like nervous that there would be consequences for us and wondering what the turnout was going to be. And like, we didn't know at the time that it was going to be released. So like, none of us was really saying anything about it.
Were they saying they're going to actually put you on the stand?
They said it's a possibility.
Okay. How'd you feel about that?
I didn't want to do it, but if I had to, you have to,
Did any of the other escorts that you do, the other 2 guys, did they ever took the stand?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one?
Punisher.
Oh, you knew Punisher?
Yeah.
Aha. Okay. How do you feel about his whole penis implant thing, by the way?
I never really thought about it. I feel like he solved his erectile dysfunction problem,
Right. There you have it. The trial starts. Are you worried that at any point you're going to be called, or is it basically at that point all the witnesses have been locked in and you're done?
Yeah, I was worried because like I was hearing that if he gets convicted with Cassie, then Jane Doe will never have to take the stand, so I will never have to say anything or talk to anyone about it. But it didn't work out, and Jane Doe had to take the stand.
Right. Jane Doe took the stand, and she broke down the whole relationship. They were dating for about 3 years, starting 2021. Prior to that, she was involved with a man who Diddy had a history with in a tense relationship. Who was allegedly a rapper from Queens. They started to hang out a little bit. He flew her out to Turks and Caicos for like 15 days, gave her like $10,000, gave her some drugs to take. And then it kind of opened up a Pandora's box where they would essentially, whenever they would have sex, there'd be men involved as well. Did you do any escorting after the 2 Diddy situations?
Nope.
Was this a common thing in your world with the other escorts that you knew, like they would have sex with women? There's the whole cuckold situation going on, or?
Yeah.
So that's normal.
I know multiple situations and guys in the industry do it. It's normal.
Yeah, I'll never understand that one, but whatever floats your boat, I guess. Okay, well, according to Jane Doe's testimony, they would have these quote unquote hotel nights where she would basically do what you were talking about. And the first time was with a male escort named Don. Do you know who this is?
Nope.
Okay. And essentially it was the exact same situation. The baby oil, they would have sex and Diddy would watch. And then, after that, that's basically all they would do. 90% of the time they had sex, there was always a man involved. When you went, read about the whole Jane Doe taking the stand and so forth, was she talking about you at any point?
Yes.
What did she say?
That's how I found out. My friend, he's a news anchor in D.C., and he called because he was in the court, and he was like, hey, Rico, they just said your name and showed the picture. And they also said, she was like, he's the only guy that ever told him not to record. And I told him that, and he was like, that's what prompted him to like look up, and then he seen that they was talking about my situation. Because she said that me and him talked outside for like 30 minutes. It was at the audition. She said the month. And then she said I was the only guy to never say record. And I told him the situation when they was trying to subpoena me. He was the one I talked to about it. So I kind of explained the situation to him. And then he was like, it's going to be coming. Once he seen that, he contacted me. He was like, it's going to be coming out because they're going to release the pictures because they did with Cassie. Mm-hmm. So he was like, you might as well just like let people know before it come out. And it's, so I was like.
Okay, when the picture got released, what happened?
It still hasn't been released like on record because she's Jane Doe. So they didn't release nothing like pretty pertaining to her pretty much,
Wasn't there a situation while you guys were having the freak off that Diddy said that Jane Doe was one of the ones on my A team?
Yeah.
And she said, I am the team.
Yeah. she was giving me oral sex, and I told her, I said, you nice with it. And he was sitting there, and he was like, she's one of the ones on my A team. And she looked at him and she was like, no, I am the team. And that was the first encounter.
Okay.
And there was actually one instance on the first encounter when she was like, she asked me if I wanted something to drink. And I was like, no, because they had like vodka and tequila. I was like, I drink red wine. And he was like, hold up. So he goes in the room and comes out with a bottle of red wine. And I'm like, strap, like you got it. And he was like, strap. And I was like, yeah, like you got the wine. And like, then I could tell he thought I meant like a gun. He was like, what you mean, strap? I was like, if I don't have weed and you have weed, you strap, you got it. He was like, Oh, I never heard that before. I'm just learning. I don't know the lingo.
Yeah, I've never heard that before either. Yeah.
Then I realized he's thinking I'm talking about a gun, so he's kind of paranoid,
I mean, shit, it could be a whole different, when you talk about a strap in a sexual situation, it could be a strap on, it could be God knows what.
We still had clothes on and everything at the time, and when I said that, like, you could clearly tell he thought I was talking about a gun. He was like, strap, what you mean? Like, he got very defensive, you know what I'm saying? I was like, you got the wine, bro, like
one of the things that came out, in the trial was that at one point, did he try to bargain with the agency, and it was like, hey, I'm a regular customer, you guys can't charge me this much, I need a discount. Did you hear about this?
No, I never heard that.
Yeah, something came out in the trial where basically Diddy was talking to a woman that would do all the bookings and so forth, and was like, yo, you guys, I'm a regular customer, you can't charge me that much. And she basically said, well, it's just a $2,000 fee, and whatever you work out with the male talent, that's between y'all. We're not here to negotiate those prices. But I guess he was frustrated, and he felt he was overpaying.
Yeah. The agency never communicated that with me.
Okay, so the trial is going, and then we reach the end of the trial. Diddy does not take the stand, and the defense doesn't call any witnesses. And at this moment, this is July 1st, 2025, the jury is deliberating. How do you feel about the overall case?
I haven't honestly been even keeping up with it.
Okay. But you do have, you've heard various things here and there since you are kind of connected to it. Oh, what do you think will happen? Because he has 3 big charges. There's Rico, where they're saying that He has a criminal enterprise, which includes kidnapping, arson, drugs, and so forth. There is sex trafficking, Cassie by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation of Cassie to engage in prostitution. Those are the 3 charges. Rico is the most serious, sex trafficking is the next most serious, and prostitution is, potentially a slap on the wrist. Number 1, do you feel like you were trafficked?
No.
Okay. And you don't feel that Jane Doe was forced to be in the situation?
No, I feel like she was enjoying it and wanted to be there. I didn't feel like it was a forced situation.
Right, because the 3 charges don't include Jane Doe at all. She was just there as a witness. Do you think, based on what you know, that Diddy will be guilty of any of these or all of these?
I don't think so.
Why is that?
Because from the way my situation went, if her situation was the same as that one, I feel like it was all consensual and there was no drugs, nobody felt forced. But I don't know the dynamics of that situation to really, to say anything about it. But from my experience with Jane Doe, I wouldn't say he'll be guilty.
Right. One of the things that the defense said in their final arguments was that you can't convict Diddy of sex trafficking Cassie because he never made any money off of Cassie. They were just having freak-offs. He wasn't prostituting her. He wasn't having her having her have sex with men for money.
He was spending money for her, pretty much.
Essentially, yeah. Yeah. And what's interesting, I remember Punisher told me that every single time that he had sessions with him, and had about like 12 sessions, she would reach out, she would text him, he would show up, and she would pay him herself at the end of the night. You were getting paid by Jane Doe, right?
Yeah.
So Diddy never actually handed you the money?
Nope.
Okay. And that essentially, it's an interesting situation because I feel like some of these girls who are testifying, they could technically be charged with some of the same stuff that Diddy was charged with.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the only thing, if he were to get charged, was like hitting her. You know what I'm saying? The elevator.
That's not even a charge.
Yeah.
Domestic violence. This, based on all the lawyers I've spoken to, some of which were actually close to the case, they've all said this is really a domestic violence case that's ballooned into a RICO and sex trafficking and everything else like that. But really all it is domestic violence.
Pretty much. That's the guilty verdict I see out of the whole situation.
There's a couple that was taking a lot of drugs. There was a lot of money. They would get high and get angry and start hitting each other, more so him than her. But there was some back and forth and so forth. But essentially, that's the real crime. All this other stuff, I just don't see it.
Yeah, because I feel like all the other stuff is stuff people do on a regular basis, but because he's in the limelight, it's a situation kind of,
One of the things that happened in the trial was that Cassie revealed that she got $20 million from Diddy and $10 million from the Intercontinental Hotel. So she now has $30 million to her name, which is an insane come up.
Crazy.
An insane come up. And I asked Punisher if he's going to sue Cassie for, I guess, exploiting him. And he said he doesn't think so, but I would be surprised if some of the male escorts started to actually sue Cassie. What do you think?
I think they did that on their own consensually. Like they were paid to be there, So like, I don't feel that would be fair for them to sue her.
Lawsuits aren't always fair.
Yeah.
I think Diddy has 200 lawsuits. And what's interesting, I remember one of the lawyers pointed this out, is that if you look at all the Diddy lawsuits, and there's like 100 of them or something, none of them were incorporated into the trial. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you don't think the feds went through every single lawsuit to try to find more witnesses and more abuse and, all these rape allegations and everything? They went through all those and saw that none of them actually held water.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the only person who actually filed a lawsuit against Diddy and took the stand was Cassie.
Yeah.
That was the only person who filed a civil suit against Diddy out of the 100 or so that were filed, which makes me think that those other 99 lawsuits weren't based on anything.
Yeah.
You and Diddy, you didn't really have a relationship, but you interacted with him and so forth. When you look at his situation, do you feel sorry for him, or do you feel like, this is a really abusive dude and he, messed up a lot of people and he's getting what he deserves?
I feel like he didn't do nothing wrong in that situation, but probably over like long term in a situation with him hitting her, it's probably karma. You know what I'm saying? Overall. But situationally, I don't feel like he did anything wrong, but for stuff in the past, catching up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy situation because, look, if you're of a certain financial status or if you're in the entertainment industry, like, we've all flown girls out,
Yeah.
right? We've all given girls money to go shopping and, put them in hotel rooms and went out to dinner with them and paid and so forth.
Yeah, exactly. You can base that any way. Like, it's an everyday thing.
Is that sex trafficking or is that dating?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And this sort of bothers me because it takes non-traditional relationships and almost criminalizes them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you don't have a regular girlfriend, if you're dating a few different people and you're flying them in and so forth,
then you're tricking.
You're tricking, but now that's illegal?
You're single.
You're single.
Enjoying life, yeah.
You're single, you're enjoying life, you have money, you're going to spend it on women.
Yeah.
This is just the reality of life.
Yeah, I feel like it's more of a karma thing because, like, I'm a huge fan of Tupac, and from what the situation looked like and the guy on YouTube, it seems like he had a part in Tupac getting killed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, I interviewed him.
Yeah, with the Keefe D interview. So, like, I'm a big fan of Pac. So if that's anything correlated to that, I feel like it's your karma more so than the sex allegations,
Was there anything really, like, extra freaky that was happening? Like, for example, Cassie, talked about how, some of the escorts would urinate in her mouth.
Yeah, no crazy stuff like that.
No? They didn't ask you to do that?
No, I know she had baby oil in her mouth.
Oh, from you?
Yeah. I was thinking like, okay, this is kind of, I know it can't be good. That's a lot of baby oil. Why she's giving me oil, But besides that one.
I mean, if they asked you to pee on her, would you do it?
No.
It's not your thing.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
Okay. Well, I mean, at this point, we don't know what's going to happen. The jury's deliberating. There's a few little kind of, snags along the way. I remember one of the questions the jurors asked was, if someone asks for drugs, is that considered drug dealing? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Technically it is, but then again, it's kind of like,
but you're just giving it to them. You're not selling them in that situation, right?
Right. Now, it is technically drug distribution. I mean, you shouldn't have had it in the first place. And if you give it out or sell it, it's technically the same thing. But if they're asking for drugs, and this is what I've seen during this whole trial. It's like, there's all this drug stuff, but I have yet to hear someone, get grabbed by Diddy and have their face thrown into like a pile of cocaine and like, take this or else.
Do this line.
Do this line. Take this pill or I'm going to kill you. I've never heard that. I've heard, hey, listen, people want to take drugs. They ask him. He gets it. He gets it. Sometimes he offers and they say, okay, cool. Or, sometimes people say no. Like in your case, he offered you some stuff and you said, no, I'm good. So, yeah, there's drugs involved, but it seems like people are wanting to take the drugs.
Yeah.
I don't get the impression that this is a criminal enterprise, that, Bad Boy's a legitimate company. They sell records.
Yeah.
He sells clothes through Sean John. He's got the Ciroc deal where he sells liquor. Like, this is not a shell company pretending to be a real company that's really like a mafia business.
Yeah.
This is a guy who's got money, who wants to spend it doing stuff that he doesn't really want to talk about. I mean, at the end of the day, do you think that Diddy's gay?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
He's just a cuckold.
Yeah. Because I feel like at some point they would have asked or tried something if he was,
I've been saying that. Like, with everyone taking the stand and everyone being completely transparent. It's one thing to make a YouTube video and say, oh, I saw Diddy, give head to a man and blah, 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 blah. But when you're taking the stand and you're under oath, because I remember one of the things that the Punisher told me was that they kind of scared him and like, look, if you don't tell the truth, we're going to charge you with perjury.
Yeah.
We're going to send you to jail.
They told me the same thing.
And he was freaked out. He said he stopped eating. He lost like 50 pounds. He was like,
yeah, they said if you don't tell the truth, they're going to charge you with all kinds of stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Were you scared too?
Not really. I was like, I'm just telling the truth,
Yeah.
So there's not nothing they can really do if I'm just telling them what truly happened, Yeah.
I mean, it's a very weird situation. I wouldn't be surprised if he beats it. I talked to a lawyer last night. She's like positive there's going to be a mistrial, like a hung jury.
Yeah.
She doesn't think the jury's all going to agree.
Yeah,
There's already problems.
I think he's going to beat it.
You know, and there's also, you know, he's friends with Trump. I think that Trump is going to pardon him if he gets a real sentence.
Oh, I seen a video of him talking like bad about Trump. I didn't know they were friends.
He was talking bad about Trump, but for example, I interviewed Roger Bonds, who was his head of security for like 10 years. He said on 5 different occasions he would go take him to Trump's office and they would hang out in Trump's office for like 3 or 4 hours, just chopping it up. You know, they have a relationship.
Yeah. On that note, he might get that pardon.
I think he might get that pardon.
Yeah.
Trump pardoned Kodak Black, Lil Wayne, NBA YoungBoy.
I know,
like,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna pardon Diddy after those 3 guys.
If you pardon Kodak Black, he'll pardon anybody.
If you pardon Kodak Black, you gonna pardon anybody, right? Well, I mean, look, man, we're gonna see what happens. You know, once your name got out there, were other people reaching out to you to do like similar type of activities and so forth?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you taken anyone up on the offer?
They've all been like bachelorette and birthday parties, like groups of girls wanted me to fly out to perform for all the girls at one time. I haven't got any direct like escort type of jobs from that.
I got you. I mean, if you got offered another situation like you were in, would you do it?
It depends. It depends on the situation.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Well, Rico, man, I appreciate you coming in and you know, telling the story. We've heard, you know, a lot of stuff on the stand and we've heard a lot of rumors and so forth, but as someone that was actually there, who actually experienced the whole situation multiple times, I take your opinion over anyone who's talking on the internet. You know, and look, I've taken a lot of flack. I've always said, like, I don't think Diddy's fully gay. Now, rubbing another man's, you know, cum on your nipples is
very peculiar.
It's very peculiar. And, you know, Jane Doe was actually asked on the stand what he would do with the cum, and she said he would play with it, which was a little weird also.
Very weird.
You know, are you on the same block as gay? Yeah. You know, but you... At some point, being on the stand, someone would have said, yeah, and then Diddy got head from a dude.
Something, yeah.
And Diddy blew this dude's back out. Or, you know what I mean? Or Diddy was rubbing on the guy while he was having sex with Cassie or Jane Doe or whatever else. But like, you know, now you're the second escort that I spoke to, and both of them said that there was no contact, there was no interaction. He just wanted to sit there and watch.
Yeah, he never even tried, you know?
Never even tried. Well, what would have happened if he would have tried to like get too close or whatever?
His ass.
You would have whooped his ass?
We watched 3 fights. We watched 3 of my fights on YouTube before that.
So he already knew.
He already knew. You know what I'm saying?
I got these hands.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna take that. All right, so don't even try that shit.
Just lefts and rights.
Well, that's what Punisher said. He said once he realized, because at first he said like, I don't know, 5-6 sessions, Diddy had like a burqa on.
Yeah.
Like his face was fully covered and he was just naked from like the neck down, right?
So weird.
But then this one time he went to a hotel, you know, like how on the TV screens, it'll say, oh, welcome to the London, Sean Combs. And he was like, oh shit. Because he said that, you know, Cassie was wearing a wig.
Yeah.
So he couldn't figure out it was Cassie. Diddy had a mask on, couldn't realize it was Diddy. But at one point, okay, you know, it's all out in the open. He was like, yo, I grew up in Harlem. I'd heard the gay rumors.
Yeah.
I was worried that I might take that. Like, he was seriously worried about that. But he said it never happened.
It's crazy to me because he opened the door, like, just himself after, like, being covered up, which was weird to me, you know, after hearing the stories of his face covered up. And I realized who she was after the first encounter. The show was every Saturday, and my friend that was booked before, when I got to the show, I told him about the gig, and he pulled my phone up, and he was like, was this the girl? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, then he told me who she was, and I was like, wow, because he was getting booked with her as well.
The friends that were doing the same thing as you, were their stories exactly like yours?
Yeah.
No difference.
Same story.
Same story. They would bust, and then whatever happened.
I told him about that part. I was like, bro, and there was something crazy that happened. And he said, before I told him, he was like, oh, the cum thing? I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I know, right? I was like, yeah, that shit.
He would just do that every time. Listen, I have a theory, right? I have a theory. You know, like the Cassie video, like in the hotel where she's like running away.
Yeah.
Notice that she has like a bag with her. I think in the bag is a giant jar of man juice that he's accumulated over the years.
Oh my God.
And her running off with it was just the final straw. Like he completely snapped. It was like, no, you can take my money, but you're not taking that. I need that. That's what I think actually happened.
Big jar of man juice in the bag, huh?
The man juice, the big old.
You think it busted when you hit her in the field? You think the jar busted and shit just
I
all
don't
in the
know,
bag?
man. Maybe that probably made him more mad. Like, oh my God, it's taking me 10 years to accumulate all this stuff, right? Yeah, man, listen, like, bro. Diddy could never win an argument with a man anymore, right? You know, they could start roasting each other. The dude could be like, yeah, but I didn't rub cum on my nipple. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do that shit. What do you say to that? Argument's over. You know, there's no response.
There's no more roasting for him. I think he's just going to be very calm and docile.
What do you say to that? It's a wrap. I mean, when you look at Diddy, I mean, was it just sort of weird? Because, like, you got this, like, this powerful figure, and, you know, and he's this, like, ladies' man, and, you know, he always brags about the women, and you see him with Cassie and so forth, and here's this dude who's, like, sort of doing what I feel is almost like the lowest thing a man could do.
Yeah.
Right? You're really kind of being humiliated in a way. Like you're sitting there while a dude is having sex with your woman who is basically better than you are at that particular job.
Yeah. It
you see what I'm saying? Like,
shifts the whole perspective of what you see on TV, and Star Power had a whole different.
Like that is no longer an alpha male.
Yeah.
By any stretch of the imagination. Like that's real beta behavior.
Yeah, and it's like at the same time he had these insecurities because he was like, man, I've been trying to get in shape. Like, how do you stay in shape? What workouts would you suggest that I do? Because I'm getting older and it's getting hard for me to be in shape. So, like, talked about working out and him wanting to feel better about himself physically for like 10 minutes. And you could kind of see like the insecurity in that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, look, if he gets out, it's going to be the craziest party ever. This is going to be sponsored by Johnson & Johnson's. You're not going to be able to hold a drink because it'll slip out your hand.
Might want to buy some stock. If he gets on, get you some stock.
Johnson stock is going to skyrocket,
Vlad and Johnson
right,
stock.
you can actually find on the shelves now. For a long time, you'd go there, the shelves would be empty because Diddy done bought it all out from every city and so forth.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, man, this is a very interesting turn of events, man. And ultimately, I don't think the prosecution really, built their case properly.
Yeah,
I don't think they
have
case.
Substantial evidence to convict them of anything.
Yeah, I think you found a rich guy who has weird sexual likes, and you had people that went along with it. I mean, look, and people like to paint Cassie as a victim, but I've never thought that way. I've always felt that this is a girl who had one hit song, never had any more hit songs, was given an incredible opportunity because she was sleeping with the boss. You know, Bad Boy made her a priority for years and years, even though none of the music she put out ever reacted. She was able to leave at any point. That's what I think.
Yeah.
You know? She had gotten all types of gifts over the years. I remember I ran into her one time. She had like, a gold Rolex on, like, that's like $40,000, $50,000 by itself. Like all the stuff that he gave her, she could have really gone on her own and said, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I think she liked it to a certain degree. I think she liked the lifestyle. I think, she even said, after she broke up with Diddy, he's like, oh, who else can I date? Is Jay-Z available? Like, she wanted to
maintain that.
Live that high life. I think she was messing with Michael B. Jordan at one point. She was messing with Kid Cudi.
Yeah.
It was like, ultimately, you have all these men that have all this money and are willing to do all this stuff for you. You ended up with a personal trainer. Yeah, you enjoy the lifestyle. You ended up with a personal trainer, and the money ran out. So,
and she's choosing the guys. You know what I'm saying?
She's choosing the guys. I think she liked it. I think she probably liked having sex with escorts probably more than with Diddy.
That's like you having a wife and your wife is like, oh, call a beautiful girl, pick a beautiful girl, and I'm gonna get them to come over here. You know what I'm saying?
Do a threesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've had girls that were like this. They were into threesomes. Like, I don't know, man. Like, a lot of stuff to me doesn't seem all that weird. I mean, the cuckold stuff is weird. The cum stuff is weird.
Yeah, the cum stuff is weird.
Yeah, like everything in the cuckold category, that's all weird to me.
The cuckold stuff I understand, but the cum thing kind of...
The cum thing, well, the cuckold stuff I don't understand either. But, but that mix of the cum thing was extra weird to me. But the threesomes, the flying women in, and so forth. I mean, not the males involved, but other females.
So did he ever have other girls come in, or was it just always?
I've never heard of any female escorts. I've never heard of this.
Okay.
And to me, I guess also, I remember I was talking to a girl about this, who does porn, and she was like, I don't understand why he went through all this with girls that doesn't seem like they were totally into it when you could have paid a porn girl who fucked 5 guys in front of you. They're with it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Why have someone try to convince someone to do a certain type of thing when there is women that are totally down to do all this?
It. Honestly, I feel like with my encounter, she enjoyed it. So like that, she might say that, but they probably enjoyed it.
So you think she enjoyed it too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know her situation, you know what I'm saying? But from my experience and my situation, she did,
Well, yeah, and part of the thing was like at one point, on the stand, she said that she didn't want to do those anymore. She didn't want to do the freak offs anymore. And he goes, well, if you don't want to do that, then I'm just going to pay your rent for 3 more months. I'm not going to keep paying your rent. There's really nothing illegal about that. If you have a girl and you guys have a sexual relationship and you say, listen, I want to have you do these things in the bedroom. And she's like, well, I don't want to do those things. Or I don't want to have sex that often or whatever else. And you say, okay, well, then I'm just going to stop paying your rent.
Because that's how 80% of marriages are set up. You know what I'm saying? It's just expectations and being in a relationship.
And results. And ultimately, if one party is not getting what they want out of the relationship and they say, well, I'm not going to keep giving you money, I'm not going to keep paying your rent, or I'm not going to let you keep going shopping or let you keep driving this car that I'm leasing for you, there's nothing illegal about it.
Yeah.
One of the charges was bribery, because I guess he, that was based on him buying the videotape. I talked to a judge about this. He said, bribery is not illegal unless you're an elected official. If it was illegal to buy a piece of footage that you don't want to get out there, half of the NBA would go to jail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
never
saying?
been to Blockbusters.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're allowed, you know what I'm saying? If you have a videotape that I want, I could buy it off you. It's not bribery.
Yeah.
Now, if you go and steal it, that's your problem, not mine. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like if you choose to break the law to get me this product, that's something you can get charged with. But I could buy it off you if you provide it for me.
Yeah, it's sales. It's not bribery.
Yeah, it's a sale.
It's business.
It's business. And people buy stuff that ultimately they don't want out. I mean, this is life. Now, sometimes it doesn't work out. You see like the Oscar De La Hoya situation where he bought those pictures where he's wearing like women's clothing and they came out anyways.
I didn't know about that situation.
Oh, you know about that?
No.
Oh, let me show you those pictures.
Not Oscar.
Here goes your boy Oscar De La Hoya.
No way.
Oh yeah, these are real.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. The high heels, the fishnets. Oh yeah.
Oh, bro.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he bought all that. Like he like someone was trying to basically extort him. He paid like, I don't know, like $300,000, and then the pictures came out the next day anyways. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, now it's illegal to extort somebody. Now, if I have, like, let's just say I have, the freak off videos, and I say, listen, give me $100,000 or else I'm going to release it, then I can get arrested. But if I say, hey, I got these videos, you're like, hey, let me buy them off you. All right, $100,000.
Yeah,
okay.
You have them.
There you go. They're yours. No one broke the law.
Yeah.
I mean, were you worried, even though you told him to turn off the phone, he did get a few seconds of you at that point?
Yeah.
Were you worried about that leaking out at some point?
No, because I got a lot of dance videos of like dancing for bachelorettes,
so it was just
dancing with
dancing.
girls. Yeah, at the time I was dressed. I had my shirt off and I had my pants on.
Got it.
And so I wasn't worried about that.
I mean, if Jane Doe reached out to you and want to have a conversation, what would you tell her?
I would tell her I don't want to talk because of all this court stuff going on. I would rather not talk or be involved in any of it anymore.
Well, once this is over, though, if you guys could have just an honest conversation without the law involved at all.
It depends on what she's asking, what she's talking about, I would be open to talking to her. I wouldn't just like ignore her,
Okay. If you and Diddy could have a conversation, what would you tell him?
I don't want nothing to do with him. I want to have a conversation.
Okay, so Diddy gets free. He calls you up. He says, yo, I want you for another freak off. Instead of 5,000, I'll pay you 10,000.
I can't do it anymore. I wouldn't do it.
20,000.
No, it's
50,000.
I can't do it.
100,000.
All right. We can talk about it. We can discuss it.
So for 100,000, you would do it.
Yeah, for 100K. If it's her or somebody equivalent to her, yeah, I'll be open to it.
Okay.
We'll have to do some contracts, a contractual agreement or something.
Well, you have an NDA, and I actually have a copy of it.
Yeah.
Are you worried that you've violated this NDA at this point?
No.
Why is that?
Because the NDA, I did some homework. It was like, for a makeup company, it wasn't legitimate. It was more of a scare tactic. And once things go to court, the NDA is void. Like since it went to court, now the NDA doesn't even matter anymore.
Right, because I'm sure Cassie, when she got her $20 million, she signed an NDA.
Yeah.
But a criminal case supersedes a private agreement.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Which is an NDA.
Yeah.
So the NDA gets thrown out the window.
Yep.
So ultimately, Cassie got $20 million and potentially is going to put him in jail.
30 million.
30 million, my bad. Well, 20 million from him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He paid out, he gave her 20 million and she still might, put him in jail. I mean, final question. When you look at Cassie and ultimately what happened, 30 million, took the stand against him and so forth. Do you feel that Cassie was a victim or do you think that she was diabolical and ultimately played everybody?
I feel like she was definitely a victim in the elevator video, for sure.
Right. But overall,
I don't really know the situation that much to speak on how she felt. What was her situation? Because she could be, you know what I'm saying? She could be, and then there's the possibility that she can't be. But she definitely benefited from the situation.
Yeah, I mean, look. At one point, Kid Cudi even said that Cassie was playing both of them, both him and Diddy.
If he said that,
he said that.
That's the answer right there. Because he was a side dude, technically.
Yeah, pretty much. And look, like, at the end of the day, she went through what she went through. I think most of it was she wanted to be there. She wanted to experience it. She walked away with an incredible amount of money. Now women would be like, oh, she should have got more. You got 30 million. You got enough to last you 10 lifetimes. You should not have gotten more, okay? 30 million is more than enough. At the end of the day, the first time, and you see this in relationships all the time. You have a situation, you have a toxic relationship, somebody gets hit, and they stay. Nobody forces them to stay. They stay.
Time, every day.
Every day. Right now, somebody's explaining to their wife or girlfriend, I'm sorry, I'll never hit you again. And
they're going to go on about their
a month
lives
later,
like
the same thing will happen.
Yeah.
And they'll get the same reason. And, sometimes you're tied to a situation because, okay, you guys have kids and, you might have a business together and, you don't have your own money, so you can't really leave and you're depending on your husband's money or so forth. Yeah. Cassie could have left at any point. I'm just going to say that she could have left at any point. She was pretty. She was young. Lots of other guys was totally willing to date her. She could have found another sponsor to support her lifestyle, but she wanted to stay. And when it all goes bad and, your husband is a personal trainer and you're not making nearly the amount of money that you were making before, you're a flying coach, you're having to clip coupons. She never worked. Let's think about that. She never had a job. But yet,
a $40,000 gold Rolex, huh?
A lot more than that, I'm sure. I mean, at one point, Shine did an interview where he saw Diddy spend $500,000 on her in Paris. You don't think she got to keep any of that stuff? So, like I said, me personally, I feel she's more diabolical than a victim. That video was horrible. But she stayed after that situation. She stayed. You could say she was forced to stay. She was not forced to stay. And a lot of this, man, I was thinking when this trial was going to start that you're going to have underage girls pop up.
I was thinking there's going to be some crazy
There's going to be
shit.
someone that was like, locked in a basement somewhere with shackles and, people being beaten and, prostituted and whatever else. All I saw was what seemed to be a bunch of consensual relationships between a bunch of adults with a lot of money and drugs and all types of other stuff floating around. And they turned this into a big Fed case, and Diddy's facing life in prison over this.
Yeah.
So to me, it's crazy. And ultimately, I hope he gets off or just gets a slap on the wrist.
That's what you think is going to happen?
That's what I'm hoping will happen. I think so. But you don't know because, like, for example, I talked to Judge Mathis the other day about the situation. He's an actual state judge.
Yeah.
So he knows the stuff better than you and me. And the problem with this situation is this. The jury is going to vote how they're going to vote. They don't have any say when it comes to the amount of time that he'll get. So he could beat the RICO. He could beat the sex trafficking. He can get hit with the prostitution charge. That'll be the one charge he gets hit with. The judge could give him 1 to 10. And what Mathis thinks...
I thought they dropped the RICO.
No, they didn't drop the RICO. They dropped certain parts of the RICO. I think the
arson?
The arson part, I think. But then again, I saw it on the list, so I'm not quite sure. I think certain parts of the RICO, they realized they didn't really prove, so they kind of try to move that out, even though the RICO is still there. But for example, let's just say that Diddy beats all his charges except for that one prostitution charge. The judge could end up giving him 10 years because of all the other stuff that came out on the stand. And to compensate for him beating the other charges, he's going to give him the maximum on that one charge. That happened to OJ, right? OJ beat his murder, but then we got caught trying to steal his stuff back, his own stuff. They gave him like 35 years. I know people with murders who got less than 35 years. They're out right now.
Facts.
Some of them I personally know. To have someone get 35 years for stealing your own stuff back means that, no, we're going to punish you for all the other stuff that you got away with.
Yeah.
So the fear is, okay, you got away with the RICO, you got away with the sex trafficking, but you got that one prostitution charge, maximum. That's what might happen.
And that would be fair with the past, but all the other charges I don't think should stick,
Well, Rico, man, I appreciate you coming in and really shedding light to this whole situation. And, hopefully this will turn out into a positive. You said you're now getting booked more and you're now getting your face out there. And, you're going to film school. You're about to graduate.
1 more month. I'm ready.
Yeah, man. Just take this, in this world of the internet and entertainment, you just never know, like, that one thing that you do that just puts you over the top and really gives you an opportunity. And it looks like you're taking your career seriously. You realize you're not going to be young forever. You're not going to be able to dance for women forever. It looks like you're actually building an actual career to the point of, as you get older, you continue to support yourself and continue to grow. And man, I respect it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you for having me on, my dude.
Absolutely. Till next time. Peace.